This is the AHSAA Weekly, your weekly inside look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we are going to visit with Tom Esslinger. He is the head track and field coach at Hewitt-Trussville High School. They won the 7A Boys and Girls Championships. We'll visit with him. Also, we're going to visit with the head wrestling coach at Cleburne County High School in Heflin, Coach Jake Mayfield. His team won the Class 1A through 4A Duels Wrestling Championship, getting ready for the traditional state championship coming up this weekend in Montgomery. Also, we'll have our Central Board Spotlight coming up with the principal at Lawrence County High School in Moulton and District 7 Representative Thomas Jones. Also this week, we're going to have a very special ceremony honoring the head coach in basketball, boys basketball at Central High School in Phoenix City, Coach Bobby Wright. And of course, we will have this week's David Holsford's highlights as we take you around the state of Alabama to look at some boys and girls basketball and also some track and field highlights. All of that and a whole lot more coming up on this week's AHSAA Weekly.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
This is the AHSAA Weekly. A couple of special folks we're going to spotlight this week. We begin with our Central Board Spotlight. This week we shine the spotlight on District 7 Representative. He's the principal at Lawrence County High School in Moulton, Thomas Jones.
Lawrence County Principal Thomas Jones grew up in what sounds like a bygone era. The 8th of 10 children, he worked the cotton fields outside Cortland long before his 10th birthday. Fast forward to today, and he's in his 8th year as principal at Lawrence County High in Moulton.
My management style is more being a servant leader. I consider myself to be a transformational leader. I just want to encourage, inspire, and motivate others to reach their full potential. I'm the principal here at Lawrence County High School, and even though I might be the most important person here, I act like the least important person here. I want others to fulfill their dreams and admiration. I just want to assist and help them as much as I possibly can.
Jones High School football coach, Cortland legend, and AHSAA Hall of Famer Lewis White taught him about the importance of relationships and how to impact and inspire his students.
No, in this line of business, there's always people that you can reflect upon that had a great impact on your life. Mine would be, I think about Coach White, who's a Hall of Famer, being a young 16, 17-year-old kid growing up in Cortland, and just how he just kind of said, hey, you can make it out of here. You're going to need education. You're going to need these things to help you to grow and develop. I was moved by those things. I guess I was more moved by the fact that the relationship he had with my mom, he communicated with her, shared with her how being an athlete and putting your best foot forward can prepare you to go to college and get a scholarship and get a degree that interests her. A lot of things I learned from Coach White, I apply those things today. I'm constantly looking for kids that I can make an impact with, kids you make a difference with, and it's not all just about athletics, it's about the kid as a whole. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Coach White really cared about us there at Cortland, and I appreciate that and appreciate everything that he poured into me. And I'm trying to give back now the things he implied in us to give those things back to every kid I come in contact with.
Jones used sports to earn a college degree before embarking on a coaching and teaching career. He's been a member of the AHSAA Central Board for 5 years.
My experience on the Central Board has been an amazing experience. I've learned a great deal of things. The knowledge base has increased. I was very moved about the amount of input and how hard the Central Alabama High School Athletic Association executive directors and the staff works down there. Truly amazing. From Coach Albert Reese, I really have picked up a lot of things from him that's been beneficial to me. In the school system, I've learned a great deal of things. It's just following bylaws and doing what's fair and equitable for students. And as a board member, not thinking so much about your district, but the state as a whole, and making those decisions that has an impact from the state association.
Also this week, we're going to take you to East Alabama to Phoenix City, where there was a special ceremony honoring longtime head basketball coach at Central of Phoenix City, Coach Bobby Wright. He coached his last regular season game as the Central boys basketball coach with a big win over Eufaula, closing out his 44th and final season. Wright, inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame in 2015, has a 675 and 222 record as a head basketball coach. Also served 27 years as an assistant football coach and defensive coordinator for the Red Devils. The school honored their beloved coach with a number of proclamations from the Phoenix City Board of Education, the State House of Representatives, and the State Senate, and the City of Phoenix City in a ceremony at the gym between the boys and girls games. His wife, Carolyn, coaches the Central girls. She was also inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame, making the Wrights one of just two couples to both be enshrined into that esteemed hall. Congratulations to Coach Bobby Wright of Central of Phoenix City. Back with more of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment.
Things a little bumpy in your driveway? AHSAA Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. AHSAA Foundation Solutions will come up with the right fix for you. It's time to get strong. How strong? AHSAA Strong. Get a free estimate from AHSAA Foundations.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly. We're going to spend some time now chatting with the head wrestling coach at Cleburne County High School in Heflin. Over in East Alabama, Coach Jake Mayfield. His team won the Class 1A through 4A Duals Championship several days ago, and we're going to talk about that and the state wrestling championships, the traditional championships, which are coming up this weekend. Coach Mayfield, glad to have you with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Coach, that championship match with Asheville was exciting to say the least. You were down in that 34-12, and then you came back and won, I believe, 43-24. An outstanding effort by your wrestling team. Tell us about that championship with Asheville.
Yes, sir. We were down, like you said, 34-12, and got down to kind of the latter weight classes right there. We were able to pull out a big win at 195 to kind of get some momentum kind of swinging back in our way. And then we were able to pull out another win at 220. And our goal as a team when we were talking beforehand is, you know, our goal was to make sure that we could get it back to 106. And if we could get it back to 106, we really liked our chances to be able to compete with Asheville. And our heavyweight was able to pull out a huge win, and then set the stage for us to be able to get it to 106 to compete in those last three weight classes.
Coach, anytime you win championships, it's exciting, especially at the state level. Tell us about what this has meant to your wrestling program first and foremost, but also to the school and the entire Heflin community.
Oh, yes, sir. As far as the state championship for the team, man, it's so special. I mean, it's kind of hard to really put words with it. The team that we have is a team that works extremely hard, and they have really bought into the team concept, and they really are each other's biggest fans. And as far as the community support for us as we've been wrestling this year and kind of making the run through the state duels was very special, very, very special. We had a phenomenal crowd when we went down to Birmingham, but every round that we actually wrestled, the community really came out and supported and got behind our kids, which is very, very special.
Coach, I would think there's a couple of sports, we're talking about COVID-19 now, I would think there's a couple of sports that are especially challenging to coach in this pandemic environment. Obviously, football would be one because there's just a lot of contact, and wrestling is another. From the coaching perspective, how tough has this been coaching wrestling and the precautions you're having to take and so forth? With obviously, I mean, this is the one-on-one contact sport. Just tell us about coaching wrestling during this COVID-19 situation.
It has been difficult. It definitely took a lot more planning. This year we had very great numbers coming out for the wrestling team. We actually finished the year with 30 kids. And for most of the year, to be honest with you, we practiced half in one location and half in another location. And then we would take and clean the mats, and then we would rotate, and then the other half would finish practice in the opposite location, and then we would clean again. I do know that I have cleaned, and our kids have cleaned more than they probably ever could have imagined, but it was all worth it.
Absolutely. Coach, well, coming up February 12th, 13th, Friday and Saturday, it's now the traditional state wrestling championships. The momentum, I'm sure, is great heading into that coming up this weekend. Just your perspective on the state traditional wrestling championships coming up.
Yes, sir. We qualified 13, so we'll be taking 13 guys down to Montgomery. I feel that, we have as good a shot as anybody if we go down there and compete. I mean, there's a lot of really, really, really good teams in 1A through 4A, a lot of great competition. And just excited for our guys to be able to go down there and compete and try to pursue some more of their personal and team goals.
Coach Mayfield, one of the things about wrestling is it's such a unique sport. Perhaps there's really no other sport to compare it to in high school athletics. So how did you get involved in wrestling, your background, your perspective on coaching wrestling?
Well, I'll be honest with you. In high school, I played football and baseball actually for Cleveland County High School. I personally did not wrestle. My brother, he wrestled up north, and he actually wrestled here his senior year when he transferred in. And then when I got into coaching, my brother was the head wrestling coach here, and when I was able to get hired by Cleveland County High School, he came to me and asked me if I wanted to do his strength and conditioning. And so really for about 10 years, I served as my brother's strength and conditioning coach and got involved wrestling-wise, and everything that I know, I learned personally from my brother, who is the head wrestling coach at Oxford. And so wrestling, as I got involved with it and worked with the guys and worked for, like I said, 10 years with him, fell in love with it. It is a special sport. It takes special people, special dedication, and the work that you have to put in and day out, and just the bond that those teammates form is very unique.
Coach Mayfield, congratulations again to your Cleveland County Tiger wrestling team on the 1A through 4A duals championship. Best wishes to your team as you go to the state championships at the Garrett Coliseum coming up in Montgomery on February 12th and 13th. And thank you for being with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Coach Jake Mayfield, head wrestling coach of the Cleveland County High School Tigers in Heflin. More of the program in just a moment. Welcome back into the AHSAA Weekly. We are very pleased to talk about indoor track and field. We had those championships here in recent days with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And now we're going to take you to Trussville, the 7A champions in indoor track and field. The Hewitt-Trussville Huskies sweeping through that. And we've got the head coach of the indoor track and field team at Hewitt-Trussville High School, Coach Thomas Esslinger, is with us. Coach, glad to have you with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you having me here, and excited to talk with you.
Coach, let's talk about the wild finish that you had. Very close, came down to you and Hoover. Talk about the wild finish that you had with Hoover.
Well, first, I mean, I've always looked up to Coach Hind and Hoover's program, obviously, and what they've been able to accomplish. And so to be in the mix with such a storied program was fun to begin with. And I think ultimately it kind of just shows the whole nature of every event mattering throughout the whole meet, and the fact that even though a lot of people think of it as an individual sport, that it still comes down to everybody doing their job throughout the meet. And you could take, that's one place in one event that could make the difference. And so we just felt really, really excited about how everyone stepped up and did their job and put us in the position there at the end. It came down to, we basically had to be one place behind Hoover in the 4x4. And Hoover, we knew, had a great team and was probably going to win it. And so we knew we had to get second. And our girls stepped up and got second in that 4x4, and that gave us the half a point to win, just the way the scoring worked out. So, I don't think I've, in all the championships, I don't think I've ever been so excited. So it was a lot of fun.
Coach, you're no stranger to success. You had great success at Homewood High School before coming over to Hewitt-Trussville. Just talk about bringing that level of success, the championships you had at Homewood, and bringing that out to Hewitt-Trussville.
Right. Well, and I love my time at Homewood, and I kind of, and I've learned from great coaches, all along the way. I mean, the list goes on and on. Some of them still in the business, and including, Coach Dobbs that's been here at Hewitt-Trussville, and Coach Eccles at Mountain Brook, and, just a lot of different people. And, I feel like a certain formula of success that we try to use at Homewood, works, and just trying to get the kids to buy in and believe that it is a team effort, and that, just the philosophies that really apply to all sports. I mean, that the details matter, that the details in June, matter if you're going to try to be there to win a championship. And so just those overall philosophies, like, we definitely tried to instill that in this group here, and knew that they had the talent to do it, and kind of had to get them to believe that they could do it, since, like a school like Hoover has dominated so much. And it's just such an exciting journey to watch the kids grow, and then to watch kids who haven't won a championship before, win as well. And that, that maybe was a difference from Homewood, is like just seeing, sometimes you get kind of used to it. Like the kids were kind of getting used to it. And it was really fun just to be with a group of kids who were really hungry to win, and that type of thing too.
Coach, you mentioned influences. No bigger influence, I'm sure, than your father, because if people keep up with high school athletics in the state of Alabama, your dad at Scottsboro High School up in Northeast Alabama, a legendary track and field and cross country coach. I think you told me earlier, 46 state championships combined, and retired now, but a member of the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. His impact on your life, I'm sure that's one of the big reasons you're sitting here right now in the profession that you're in.
Yeah, it's funny. I resisted it for a long time. I kind of wanted to do anything but teach and coach, and my mom's a teacher too. And so, when you're a kid, you don't always want to be like dad, but I'll tell you, once I matured and got into teaching and coaching, it was kind of one of those things where every lesson all along the way just kind of like stays in the back of your mind, and you find yourself thinking, well, what would my dad do in this situation? Or, how did he coach me? And you find your own way and other influences, but at the same time, like, I think one of the things that I've always carried with me that I learned from my dad is just, it's not always about the technical side of things, and it's not always about, the X's and O's, so to speak. Or in our sport, again, technical aspects and training and stuff like that. It is about that, but at the same time, the most important thing is just getting the kids to really believe that they can do something they didn't think that they could do, and that they can kind of push beyond and go to that next level of pain, or that next level of just competitive greatness, so to speak. And again, I think he was kind of the best at that. And so I, again, to this day, I call him and talk to him and, just pick his brain about what he thinks about different situations. And so I feel like I'm really lucky to have kind of grown up, around him, I guess you might say.
Coach, you got a small little break, small window coming in, but we're going to transition from indoor track and field to the outdoor track and field later on in the springtime with the warmer weather just around the corner. Tell us about that and the prospects for Hewitt-Trussville outdoors.
I still can't even wrap my head around this past weekend, and we've taken a couple of days off here. And I told the kids yesterday, but because with COVID and all, like a lot of the kids didn't get to like hold the trophies and take selfies and stuff like that. And so we kind of did that yesterday. And I told them, enjoy it today, enjoy it tomorrow, and then Wednesday we're going to get back to work. And so, I not looking at numbers or anything yet, and obviously last year not having an outdoor season, it's a little bit more difficult to tell than usual, but I feel really good about our group and the events that are added for outdoor, especially probably on the guys' side. I think are going to be good additions. Like, you add discus and javelin, for example, and you add an extra sprint in the 200 meter. And I feel really good about our chances. But, I mean, again, I have so much respect for all the other 7A teams, Hoover and Vestavia. Like, it's going to be a battle again. And I know we probably put a little bit more of a target on us than maybe we had previously, and probably won't be able to sneak up on anybody as much after the indoor season. So.
Well, Coach, congratulations on sweeping through the 7A Indoor Track and Field Championships, bringing the blue maps to Hewitt-Trussville, and we'll wish you and your team the best as you move into the spring season with the outdoor track and field. Thank you for joining us this week and spending some time with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Well, thank you again for having me, and I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Coach Thomas Esslinger is the head coach of the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies track and field team state champions in Class 7A. We'll be back with more of the show in just a moment.
Uneven floors got you rolling? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
The AHSAA Weekly rolls on, and it's time for David Holtzford's highlights. David Holtzford of the AHSAA putting together video highlights from across the state of Alabama in various sports. We begin this week with some boys basketball action. We'll take you to the Class 2A Spring Garden High School. The Panthers taking on Pleasant Valley. Weston Kirk pulls up for a three to start the game. It'll be all Panthers in this 97-58 win. Kirk, who scored a near record 52 in a recent game to surpass his dad's 49 and his granddad's 47 personal highs in their days as a Panther, sinks another tray and finishes with 11 on the night. Cameron Welch also nails one too as Spring Garden wins big over Pleasant Valley, 97-58, the final score from Spring Garden. The guys can shoot threes, but so can the gals. We go next to Cold Springs hosting Winston County in a Class 2A Area 13 game at Bremen. Tony West, daughter of head coach Tammy West, sinks a deep three, and Lacey Rice goes inside for a layup. Also, senior Brooklyn Kreider pumps fakes, and then she drives for another bucket. And the Lady Eagles, who led the nation in three-point shooting in 2019, cruised to the Area 13 finals with an 84-26 win over their rival from Winston County up at Double Springs. Next, we're going to take you to the Crossplex in Birmingham for highlights of last weekend's AHSAA State Indoor Track and Field Championships. We start with Hollis Johnson from Montgomery Catholic winning the Class 1A, 3A 1,600 meters with a time of 4:33. Hallie Porterfield of Westminster Oak Mountain follows with first place in three events, the 800, 1,600, and 3,200 races. She is shown here winning the 800. Also, senior Presley Miles closed out her prep indoor career for St. James, winning easily in the 1,600 meters race in Class 4A, 5A. The Duke University signee and cross-country state champ also won the 800 and 3200 races in her division. Alabama signee and Brubaker Tech sprinter Shanice Spicer grabbed the spotlight for the ladies, however, winning the 400-meter dash and the 600-meter dash in record times. That's Brubaker Tech sprinter Shanice Spicer, University of Alabama signee. Also coming up, Parker High School's Jacobin Retta landed in the spotlight as well, setting an AHSAA state record in the 60-meter dash, winning in 6.79 seconds to capture the Class 4A and 5A race. You'll see that right there. Now, in the 7A division, Vestavia Hill senior Ethan Strand set a state record in the 800, clocking 1:51.07 to take the gold. Ethan stepped in to run the final leg of the 4x400 relay to help the Rebels beat Hoover to claim the runner-up spot behind 7A champion Hewitt-Trussville. The Bucks finished third. Lastly, the Huskies of Coach Tom Esslinger got a performance from Alabama-Mississippi football all-star and LSU signee Armani Goodwin, who sprinted his way to the 60-meter dash title in his division. Hewitt-Trussville would go on to sweep the 7A boys and girls state championships at the Indoor Track and Field Championships. That was at the Sportsplex in Birmingham. Also this week, we have a special blast from the past for you featuring Buck Buchanan. And this is in honor of Black History Month, a trailblazer in the NFL. The Birmingham native and former Parker High School football and basketball standout went on to Grambling, where he earned All-America honors and became the first black player to be picked #1 in the pro football draft. The Kansas City Chiefs defensive end also had the first sack in the first Super Bowl, tackling another Alabamian, Green Bay quarterback Bart Starr. Both were named to the NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. We salute Buck Buchanan, a real blast from the past as part of Black History Month here on the AHSAA Weekly. That's going to wrap up this week's program. We'll see you right back here next week.